Happy 2023, everybody. We know this video is coming late, but honestly, we were supposed to be on a beach right now. But instead, we're here in Chattanooga, and it's 40 degrees. So, with that said, we have a lot to tell you. So we have a lot of big life updates, kind of questions you guys are asking that we haven't been telling you. With that said, we're gonna hop into the tuk-tuk. Let's go.
It's been so long. I missed it.
Feeling good, feeling right, every day, every night. In my life.
I know the locals get so over us in this little yellow car. There they go, looking for attention again.
I know I'm wearing like a parka jacket right now, but I'm freezing.
It's not bad in the front where you have the windshield. Chris isn't so fortunate in the back.
So I think we're gonna go get some coffee.
Cafe! So we were supposed to be in the Dominican Republic right now, followed by Puerto Rico. And we are not. Instead, we're freezing our butts off in Tennessee. Granted, there's worse places to be. I love Tennessee, but I'm cold. We were supposed to be flying out of Fort Lauderdale this past Monday on MLK Day. But we did not, only because we were traveling with Kramer, and Kramer typically goes everywhere with us. We usually need him to travel with us, and unless it's just not possible, he goes with us. Should I pay for parking? I guess I have to pay for parking, don't I? I'm not exempt from the rules. To travel with your dog internationally, there's a lot of different steps, and every country's different. Like, seriously, every country's different. Generally, though, you have to have an international health certificate for your dog, and sometimes that is FedExed to you overnight, and you'll get it the day before your trip. Other times, some countries will just let you do a digital copy, so they will email you or email your vet the certificate, and then the vet emails the certificate to you. Now, the problem with this is that you have to carry on with your plan like you're gonna get that certificate, because it's very rare that you don't get it in time. However, it does happen. So for us, our flight was out of Fort Lauderdale. We ended up driving to Fort Lauderdale just because we kind of wanted a road trip, and it was a heck of a ton cheaper than the one-way flight from Chattanooga to Fort Lauderdale. We get all the way to Fort Lauderdale Monday morning. We're loading up our suitcases. We're going through the motions like we're going to make it to the Dominican Republic that day. Like, that certificate's gonna come in, and it never came.
Life sucks sometimes.
Our vet was awesome. She helped us sort of go through the process, reaching out to them. We ended up giving it till Wednesday. Wednesday at noon, when we had to check out of our hotel. That's when we made the call of, do we stay longer or do we just call the trip? By Wednesday at noon, we had not received the health certificate. So we said, all right, let's pack up our bags. We're going home. We'll get a refund for everything on the trip, except for the health certificate. We don't get refunded, and we don't get the refunded nights of the car rental and the hotel nights we already had. So we're out hundreds of dollars. It's life. However, 30 minutes after we canceled everything, the health certificate came via email. If that doesn't say you're not supposed to go on this trip, I don't know what does. So we just sort of cut our losses, came home, and now we're back in Tennessee.
It's a great, great day. It's a good day.
So some of you guys ask, why didn't you just stay in Florida? You were already somewhere sunny and warm. Why didn't you just stay there and enjoy the sunshine?
I mean, honestly, the hotels were kind of pricey.
They're expensive. Really, we work on a limited budget. And when you work on a limited budget, you have to prioritize what you really want. And we really wanted to go to a new country and experience a new culture. So for us, we said no to Fort Lauderdale, even though we love Fort Lauderdale and Miami. I mean, I could have really gone for a Cuban sandwich. That sounded so good, and we never got it. But that's okay, next time. We opted to come home, save a little money, and eventually get to go somewhere international again.
But until then, we do have a couple things to share with you. But we're gonna finish our coffee and go on to the next place. What'd you do?
Let me preface it by saying I've never had a wreck or a ticket, but I did just hit our mailbox with a little tuk-tuk. It's fine. Let's go get Kramer. Some of y'all have asked, why don't you guys just leave Kramer at home? Because he is just a dog. Cover his ears, just a dog. But the thing is Kramer needs to go with us, for a lot of different reasons, but one of which is that we don't have a support system here. We've looked for dog sitters, and to find someone who can be with Kramer a majority of the time, because he's used to being with us 24/7, and to keep him up with his training, we haven't found anybody. So we've always said that Kramer will go with us, assuming that it's not too much stress on him, too much stress on me, and as long as the country allows him to get in. Those are the 3 stipulations. So 9 times out of 10, he's gonna go with us. The only place he's not been able to go that we've been is Iceland. He now has his papers to go to Hawaii, but at the time he couldn't go to Hawaii. So it's just country by country, place by place. We like to have him with us, but he needs to be with us too.
I don't wanna wait, got this money on my brain, and it's nothing I can tame like an animal.
So we're back home, and we're anticipating the rest of 2023. And I know that some of you guys may be wondering what that's gonna be, and we have those same questions.
I have no idea what I'm doing, but I know I'm doing it really, really well.
So we just kind of want to fill you in on where we've been, what we're up to, and sort of what's next, as much as we can. One of the main questions we got was, are you gonna do any group trips this year? And the answer is, we think so.
We want to.
I think for 2023, we're tentatively gonna not do Trova and just hear people who are leading trips to Trova in 2023, what their experiences are, because we had very mixed feelings in 2022. Maybe do them again in 2024, but for now, we're kind of looking into leading our own trips. So we've been sorting out finding group trip insurance and finding guides and really setting up what that could be. I think it could be a more cost-effective way for everybody to do it, and also a good way to really customize it to what, if you guys are traveling with us, maybe travel like Chris and Sarah really want to travel. So I think Iceland was pretty close, but we definitely learned from the people on the trip of what we can change.
And before we mention any of this, we do have a link down below. We've asked a lot of our friends, you included, to go ahead and fill it out. So if you haven't filled it out, all it is just a survey to let us know where you want to go. And that way you can stay in the loop when we do decide and announce when this upcoming trip does happen. 2 places that we're pulling from are 2 of the most recommended. Number 1 is Patagonia.
So Patagonia is definitely going to be more physically
inclined.
Physically strenuous. I don't want to say it's like the craziest thing ever, because we were talking to our friend who is probably going to be the one to help us lead this trip, and we were saying Patagonia or Kilimanjaro, and he's like, well, Kilimanjaro is harder. He's like, Patagonia is more doable, and there's different ways you can do it. So it's not, you don't have to be a pro hiker, but do know that it's going to require, be able to walk and hike and acclimate to elevation and that kind of thing. And the second place that we are trying to lead a trip to
is
tentatively.
Oh,
sorry, I wasn't done. Too many prefaces of like, this might happen, it might not.
Yeah. So the second place is Mexico City. And one of the reasons we are choosing Mexico City, 1, we've been there before, we know what to expect, but 2, we genuinely love what the city has to offer, and it's a very vibrant, full of just all sorts of culture city. It would be more of an intimate trip for people who want to know how to film or capture memories or vlog.
We loved Mexico City, and I think that it would be a really great place, especially for if you're interested in photography or videography. It's colorful, there's good food, so you'll get to do great street photography, great food videography, and it's really bright and vibrant. It'll give you a chance to experience a foreign language culture without having to go very far. We're gonna try to keep it pretty cost effective, because Mexico, like Argentina, is gonna be pretty expensive, but Mexico, we're gonna be able to cut that cost down a lot.
Go make sure you fill out the link below if you're interested in either one or other trips. We're always thinking and dreaming and planning on doing a lot more.
So all of this is still very up in the air, and it's not that we don't want to do it, we're still on the fence about whether we want to. We don't know what our schedule is going to hold. It's hard for us to commit to anything until we have nailed down a lot of what this next season of life is going to look like, which I think is really what you guys are more interested in hearing about.
Sorry, the sun's coming out. We're going to move the camera. So 2023 will probably be the year of traveling with people.
I hope so.
That's what we're after.
Which is why we're trying to make the group trips happen.
Yes.
Because that was like our thing. We love that.
So often we go to these amazing places and we get to experience it together with each other, and that's great and all. We love each other, but we want We want to be able to share it with friends too. Sara has heard my same jokes and my same stories for the last 6 years.
Help me.
She loves me and she just smiles through it, but I have more jokes and stories to tell with you, my friends.
And I can hear them again. No, but seriously, we really miss people when we're on the road. So that's something we're prioritizing. The most asked question is, where the heck is that truck that you guys bought? And are you going to still take it overseas? And the answer is yes, I think. It's always very vulnerable to share online what our plans are, because if they don't fall through, it makes us look flaky. But this is just life. I mean, I feel like we have to sort of, when we're quiet, we have to kind of tell you guys like, hey, this is where we're at, this is what we're doing, just so you don't think like, oh, they quit or something's wrong. Let's just rewind 6 months. We sold our van, bought a 2022 Tacoma. Love that truck. We're 100% set on this truck. It's an awesome truck. And then we were going to put the Ross Monster pop-up tent on top. Love that tent. Absolutely loved it. It's a newer product for them. They've been making vans and big truck campers for years now. This is a new product for them. And they had some development issues they were going to improve upon. And so they came to us and were like, hey, there's some issues that we want to make better, which was really transparent of them. I really appreciate that, versus giving something to us that they recognized was not perfect yet. They offered to give us one of the original prototype, or we could wait and get one late spring 2023 when they were anticipating having the new revised option available. So that's where we left off with them. That conversation was in September, which is when we were originally supposed to get the camper top for the truck, hence the original November start date to send it off to Asia. Everything is just never works out the way you anticipate. And it's not Ross Monster's fault. Ross Monster is awesome. I'm just looking at the product down below because it is a really cool product. We just in this season have learned since that I don't know if it's going to be the best fit for us. Not because it's not a good product, but because we really miss being on the road for months and months and months at a time. But the longer we've been off the road, the more we just miss being able to pack up the van in our own backyard and just head out for a few weeks.
We miss that a lot.
A lot, more than what we realized. And sometimes we wonder, like, was it a mistake selling the van? And then we have to remember, no. We have to remember the ultimate goal of we really want to overland internationally. And having a diesel overseas, especially a new diesel like Mercedes, is not ideal because the diesel needs to be cleaner. There's the issues of the Mercedes logo being internationally recognized as expensive, and we don't really want to be as big of a target. So it just a lot of reasons we know that selling it was the right move, but that doesn't take away the missing it a lot. Life has just been really busy and a little bit difficult lately, but not on the business side. In fact, we've really missed creating. We haven't released videos, but that's not for lack of want. It's more for lack of time and just some personal things have been happening on the back end, which is also affecting our international overlanding plans pretty significantly.
Yeah, 2022 was great on the business side of things.
It's the first year we could ever look at Chris and Sara's stuff and been like, oh, this is like paying for itself.
Yeah, like this YouTube thing is, wow, this is a real full-fledged, it's becoming a business, which is amazing. I mean, from the outside, last year looked amazing.
It was amazing.
It was amazing. I mean, we were able to go to Brazil, and then, we bought a tuk-tuk, and then we went to Colorado, sold the van, and then we went to Iceland, and then we went to Korea, and then through all of that, we were leading trips, and we had a great year.
It's a really full year. I forget that was all 1 year.
It was a really full year. And from the YouTube side of things, if you just clicked on one of our videos or maybe watched some of our Instagrams, you're like, oh, everything's perfect. They are thriving.
I don't know if anybody ever thinks that. We asked one of our friends the other day, we're like, tell us honestly, how bad does it look like we're struggling and scrambling all the time? And she got quiet. She was like, well, when you're home, you're quiet, but when you're on the road, you seem happier. And I think that that's true, but also not true. That was her polite way of saying, like, yeah, you guys are like,
we're just all over the
right
place.
Now.
But that's not for lack of trying. 2022 was a very hard year personally for both of us. We always struggle with this balance of what to share online and what to keep for ourselves, because at the end of the day, like, we love you guys and we hope that there's this friendship here. But we have to be able to keep things for ourselves as well. Because I don't think any human being was meant to share every moment of their life for the whole world to watch.
I don't want to be the people who are escaping by running away, but I think the sense of home that we found here is not the sense of home that we anticipated. We have built some really beautiful friendships. We have neighbors who say hi to us when we walk down the sidewalk, and we love that. That is a little piece of, it makes you feel at home, like you have a community. So that has affected our overland plans, because we know that while this is home, we're not running away, we're not selling this house. Having the option to go, even if it's stateside and in a camper again, to be at home on the road again, is something that we're willing to invest more money than what we initially intended to with Tacoma. We originally went into Tacoma saying that this is going to be a very stripped out camper. We'll get Airbnbs along the way too when we want more comforts. We're wanting to put more money into it, buy something more comfortable to really truly be an off-grid, all-terrain camper.
We're in the process of trying to get that camper, and it is a lot.
Money.
A lot of money. It is a lot of logistics of, like, honestly, we just want to be very upfront with you. We're trying to work with other people, other brands, to help offset the cost of this camper, because we don't have this money. And this is not us asking for money. Please don't hear that.
No.
This is not like, please give us some money so we can buy a camper. Like, it's not.
Our business is doing well. We're okay
We're
financially.
doing it, but we're just trying to be responsible. And if we're able to do an amazing road trip in a really awesome camper,
Really, it's not any different than what we do, but we're just trying to line up the sponsorships ahead of time before we head out there, which is the more responsible way to run a business anyway. But rather than people coming to us while we're on the road and fitting them into our content, we're trying to organize our content saying, hey, this is what we're after. Would you like to fit into this? Like, we think your brand fits here. So that's really what we've been doing. We have weighed every option on the planet for campers. I have begun looking at campers in Europe. I know there's some really great options out there. So a few things that are on this wish list for us is it needs to be off-road capable, needs to be relatively compact, because we don't want to be driving around a bus through cities in South America, and four-wheel drive. It needs to not rely on any sort of propane. It needs to have a composting toilet, because we are not going to have dump stations all around the world. Air conditioning, really, we want what we had in our van, but we need it in gas form, and we need it to last forever.
so with that said, we know what we want. We know that what we're actively looking for. We will hopefully share that with you soon. Maybe everything will fall into place and we're able to secure this. But you guys would be the first to know once it's there.
We don't know if this will ever happen. We really don't know if we're going to have to go back to doing a more stripped down possibility, because ultimately, like, we're willing to travel and rough it for the sake of traveling. But we also don't want to put the Tacoma, the build that we were looking at, it was going to be a $50,000 build still. So we don't put $50,000 into something, and then after we're done doing a couple of continents in a year and a half, scrap that and have to do something else. Now we're looking at what's going to get us longer term.
Yeah, so we're looking at the bigger picture.
Yeah. And I think we found the one we want. We're certain we know what we want. It's just a matter of making it work financially.
So that is life in a nutshell for us. And in the next couple of weeks, we don't know where we're going. We have a couple of things on the books, but we'll bring you along the best that we can.
So 2023, we know we'll be traveling. Not really sure what all that entails. We have had several options on the table, from St. Paddy's Day in Ireland to going to Egypt to moving to Thailand. Like, we've had so many opportunities presented to us in the last couple months. And truthfully, we have the air miles, we have the savings for it. Like, we are ready to go.
Yeah.
But we're also nervous to put too much of our money into traveling internationally until we really know what this truck is going to look like. Because it's kind of like when you buy a house, like when we bought our first house back in 2020, our funds were on hold until we closed on that house, because they were constantly, we couldn't make any big purchases while you're buying a house. And I'd say it's very similar to that right now. We can't touch our funds until we know what this is going to look like. So we're whatever travels we have coming up is going to be all based on credit card points, airline miles that we've racked up over the last several years that we haven't touched.
Okay, we're gonna wrap underneath this bridge right now because it's
freezing.
It's feeling like an early 2000s kind of feel. I don't know.
It feels like a music video.
I
I definitely took many a photo shoot here in high school.
Okay.
Did.
So-
I could find those
So
pictures.
we're gonna go home, see Kramer, and catch you on the flip side.
Peace. Oh. Oh, I'm so cold and hungry. Okay. We're gonna go get Kramer now. See y'all later.
See ya.
For behind the scenes and extra content, you can head on over to our Patreon community.
Otherwise, be sure to follow on Instagram or like and subscribe here. It really helps creators like us.